we had a Shrimper 19, which everybody knows as one of those in every harbour, every port in the country, and we had one for 8 years. And then when they brought out the 21, my wife Ruth was very keen on the idea of it because it's just slightly bigger, and I was resistant because the two concerns. One was the racing in the Shrimper 19 is very good in the West Country, in Falmouth and in Rock, and it would seem difficult to race this one-on-one with the other boats. And also I was worried about the towing weight because it's a little bit bigger, it's 2 foot longer obviously, but it's quite much more bulky because of the volume going up. And what Crabbers have done here is actually to keep the weight down from compared with the 19. So she's only 350 kilos heavier than the old 19s were. That still puts the towing weight at up to about 2 tons on their trailer, which means you've got to have a fairly beefy vehicle to tow with. But one of the attractions of this version is that Trevor Thomas, who had it before, had built an aluminium trailer which kept the weight down, so we're towing at about 1800 kilos, which is in the range of what a Volvo or something like that can tow quite nicely. And actually on the 4-wheel trailer it tows probably more smoothly than the 19 did on the old 2-wheel trailer.
Now, you've got a luxury item on this boat, haven't you? It's quite an expensive luxury item.
Yeah, it's a 12-volt compressor fridge, which, you explain it more.
Well, it's much more efficient than the old thermocoupled cool boxes. So it will take things down and actually will freeze things that you can in it, and it uses much less power, so it's much more effective and gives us better cruising because we can keep the wine cool, we can keep the butter from melting for some people who like these sorts of things.
Yeah.
And it's got a separate battery, hasn't it?
Yes, so it's like a bigger boat where it's got 2 batteries. One's a leisure battery and one's for the engine. So we start on the engine and then switch to charge both of them, and then back onto just the second battery when we're not engineing. So
no matter how flat we get the fridge, the engine will still start.
So you didn't have one of those on your 19, did you?
No. It was another one it was another friend's 21 that they had one, and we had to get one which was bigger, of course. But it's inspired us to go and get one. Yes.
And how many bottles of wine can it hold?
Oh, look at that! Well,
it's got one.
We have one bottle of bubbly. We're going out in 2 days' time to welcome Tenacious back from her round the world trip, and she and Lord Nelson are coming up Southampton Water. So we have the bubbles, and we will go out and greet her. Fantastic.
Well worth having a fridge for that.
Yeah.
Well, you can get a lot more in there as well, can't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's excellent.
Alcohol-free beer for those who care to.
Absolutely.
You take that one out.
Table on the bottom.
Yeah.
So that's the tabletop.
That's a table with the leg. And so what happens with that is this goes on. That table goes on top.
I've also got that, which is
Right. So if it ever rains and you wanted to eat down below, you can. Of course, it never does in this country.
No, of course not.
And then
so your fridge
can then come forward.
put that there for a minute.
That's it.
And actually there is a bit that slots in across.
Oh, I see. So that's
That goes in
blue
like
door.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay. Oh, that's good.
So you don't.
And that can go. Doesn't have to go underneath. So just that's it. And then our table can then come across here for when we're preparing gourmet meals and going again, you've got a work surface for washing up and things like that, which I'd never heard of.
Well, you couldn't do that on a 19.
No, you can't do that on a 19.
No, I can't do it on 21.
We're going to Newtown Creek.
Ideal place for shrimping Newtown Creek because you can get up here and it's beautiful.
Go all the way up. And actually, we usually go up this arm, don't we?
Yeah, and you're more just on the area where it says no mooring. You just go right up to it, and there's a little pool you can just stay afloat on, just up there. Yeah, that's there.
Yeah.
So what's the big advantage of this little shrimper then?
Well, I think really we bought the shrimper because we had a fin keel boat in Solent and had been to most of these places over the years, and we then, when we wanted a new boat, we either had to get something that was quite a lot bigger to spend our time going across the channel, or actually to go to the places where nobody goes. And that's what we like about the shrimper. We borrowed one, went up the Bewley River, and right at the top it's absolutely quiet and peaceful, and we were sold on it within the first weekend when we went, really. So it's got lots of options to go further up in Newtown, Bewley, and even here on the Hamble, once you go under the motorway bridges, and it's peaceful, it's quiet, and there's nobody there, and it's just a fantastic place to go in this little boat.
Talking about the bridges down the end, would you have to take your mast down?
Yeah, you have to drop your mast to do it, but the advantage of the 21 over the 19 is that the tabernacle for the mast is slightly higher, so you don't have to take the gooseneck off. So actually, we've just come back from Ireland where we were shooting bridges, and we get quite slick at it. That you can get through without stopping. We can just drop the mast and go down to under 3 meters, so quite easily you can get up to the top. And we wouldn't need now to tie up alongside, although you do to start with until you get the hang of it, really. So yeah, it's easier but to drop the mast than it was on the old boat. We've got a good southeasterly today, so it's actually a nice reach. The tide's with us at the moment, so it's all things set for a shrimper. Shrimpers don't go anywhere fast, so you've got to make use of the resources that you've got. And going against the wind or against the tide is a bit of a mug's game. So it looks all set to go there. It's a lovely sunny day, but and so Newtown's likely to be busy, but we can quite easily get beyond where everybody else is and get up to the shallow areas, pull up the centreboard, and we'll be tickety-booed up there.
And of course you've got a tent that goes over the whole of the cockpit?
Yep. We have a happy tent. They developed it for the 19, but it fits very well on the 21 as well, and it makes a lot more space and provides extra berths if you really want it, but certainly again protection from the elements when you're in harbour.
And you've got a spray hood as well?
Yes, we have, which is it's called the Gurley hood. After our last International Shrimper Week, there was a guy who came from the Falklands, but didn't bring his shrimper, but he has a shrimper in the Falklands, and he called this the Gurley hood, and I think he's definitely going to get one when he gets back. Overnight accommodation. We've got two big good quarter berths on each side. They put in little trotter boxes at the end to extend them so they're a really nice long berths down here, and they've got a double berth at the front. On our 19, I used to spend most of the time sleeping in the cockpit, so we have a cockpit tent as well. So theoretically, we could have 6 people, but I don't think I'd like to do it.
Not for a long period of time, anyway.
Not more than 5 minutes. No.
And you've got is it a sea toilet or a
We've
chemical?
got a porta potty chemical toilet,
yep.
Which fits underneath the berth. But there is a sea toilet option, yes, for people who want to do that. We do quite a lot of inland waterways work, and obviously the chemical toilet is therefore easier because we don't have a holding tank. 2-burner gas cooker here
Cooker.
with plum gas to the back, which is quite nice, so we could carry more gas and we'd have the things again in 19. And we've got plum water, which again quite nicely done. They've taken little plastic bottles and putting the pump through to it, so you can take those off and fill them up. You don't have to get the boat up to a hose to fill it up, so it gives a little bit more, just a little bit more like a real boat than the 19 one.
So what was the one big selling point that made you upgrade?
Well, it was really the space down below. We were on a friend's boat who had a 21 on a cold blustery day in Wales, and we were waiting for the tide, and actually sitting down here we thought this is quite comfortable, whereas on our 19 it would be much more cosy,
basic.
Yes, and thought, well, actually this makes quite a bit of sense. So that's when we really seriously started thinking about it, and then looked into all the weights and thought, yeah, okay, we can tow this. This will work.
So just tell me a little bit more about the boat.
She's a good seaworthy boat. She's certainly not fast, and she certainly doesn't point very close to the wind, but you choose where you're going according to your conditions, really, and she'll look after you in quite a lot of weather. The 19s have been out in all sorts of things and all come up smelling of roses, and we had ours knocked down by a boat in a port starboard incident, and water came over the gunnels and flooded the cockpit, and the boat just shook it all off and came up smiling in it. So we've got a lot of faith in the whole boat and design that they'll look after you.
So anybody thinking of buying one of these should first of all check out the trailer, the car, and all the weights.
I think it's obviously important to be legal. If you have an accident, you have any problems, it's very easy for the police just to have a look at on the VIN plate of the trailer. It tells you what it can tow. You look on the VIN plate of your vehicle, and if they don't add up, then you're going to be done. And so you've got to make certain you're legal, obviously. And it's also very sensible not to have too much. You need a car that's at least as heavy as the trailer, and Caravan Club suggests you go to about 85% of the trailer should only be 85% of the weight of the vehicle.
Newtown Creek hasn't changed a bit, has it?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Oh, there's a little balloon boat there.
I was waiting for a crash then. Didn't happen, a shame.
Yeah.
No, shame, that'd been good, wouldn't it?
We pay extra for crashes.
Yes.